Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Chatting with Netgear. We're excited to be here. We're going to be offering some live support to all of you viewers. But before we hop into doing live support, we want to introduce ourselves. My name is Alec. I was here 2 weeks ago on YouTube Gaming with Ben. So you guys might already know me a little bit, but I stream every week on Twitch for NPG. I mostly stream League of Legends. And I actually do a stream with another Darren. We have a Darren on the line here, but a different Darren. I stream every week with him on Twitch. Games I prefer, stuff like League of Legends. Had a big Minecraft phase for a while. And yeah, now I'm here at Netgear. I do graphic design and photography for the marketing team. And I help run these shows. And with me, I have Brett.
Hi. I'm Brett DeSell. I'm the brand experience manager for Netgear Business, and I do a little bit of streaming. I do, a couple events with the gaming team. I'm really into games. I've been a gamer all my life, so yeah, excited to be here and talk about support a little bit.
Yeah.
And learn a little bit more from the support team, how they operate, and some of these questions.
Sure, totally. And then on the line, we have one of our support agents, Darren. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Darren. You can talk a little bit about games you like, your time with Netgear, whatever you want to say.
For Nighthawk Pro Gaming and Nighthawk routers, I do a lot of support and help in the community. And I like playing a lot of Blizzard games. Right now, I'm playing Wolcen that recently released, which is a Diablo clone, and Classic WoW.
Classic WoW. I know that game is it's pretty big. I remember that it made a big splash when it first came out, and it seems like it's kind of maintained that momentum. So pretty big game. We got a lot of people playing it in the office. I know my manager plays it. Other Darren here on site, he plays it. You play it? You play it? Classic WoW?
I just have to say that I lived the original,
Yeah.
I don't feel like I need to relive that.
No.
I've gotten to level 30 about 3 times on the original WoW, and by that point, I usually just move on to the next game.
You're ready to.
As soon as you need a guild or something, I move on.
All right. Well, there you go. Well, it looks like we already have somebody in the chat asking a question. Not so much asking a question, but more so expressing their issue that they've had. Mac904, we do have a support agent here on the stream with us. So if you want to give us some details of that, please do. And we can also take some contact information and move your issue up. But if it's beneficial to you to have a support agent live here, please feel free to share information of your issue, and we can see how we can take care of that. Darren, I don't know if you have the live chat open on your end, but once that information comes in from Mac here, let's see how we can help him. But aside from that, we've also got FPS Mercs in the chat. He's playing Elite Dangerous, and he's letting us know he has the XR 450. Got somebody sharing some love for the XR 500.
Yeah, I love that router.
Great router. We have some custom XR 500s here in front of us. I personally use the XR 500 as well.
So I used it for quite a while, but I have a very, very fast internet connection, and generally I don't have issues, so I'm running a Wi-Fi 6 router right now.
Oh, nice.
So I really like that. But as soon as I have something available with Wi-Fi 6 in the XR range, I would definitely be moving on to that. So.
Yeah, I have never owned a good router
Until now.
until I came here and got the XR 500, and for me, I mean, I know you have a whole family, so you're probably really using that Wi-Fi 6 to its maximum capacity. The channels on that are incredibly strong and able to handle multiple devices. For me, it's just me and one roommate in a small apartment, so Wi-Fi 5 works great for me. Wi-Fi 6 is better though. So
Well, see-
I would eventually like Wi-Fi 6.
I'm running sort of a hybrid system.
Mhm.
So I have EX8000 extender, which is AC Wi-Fi. It's a Wi-Fi 5, and then my main router is the RX120, I believe, and I haven't had any problems since I've gotten to this setup. I would say I do have some issues maybe when I try to stream while playing, but I don't stream that often while I'm actually playing.
Mhm.
So when I'm playing normal games, I'm not having too many concerns with lag or anything. So, but yeah, there was certainly situations where when I'm uploading a stream while I'm trying to play, then I'm like, well, it would be nice to have the R500, RX500 at that time, XR500 at that point.
Definitely. Okay, we have a couple questions in the chat. Exact same, slower. So yes, the XR450 does not have Wi-Fi 6. Our current XR line is all Wi-Fi 5, AC Wi-Fi, and the varying element of the XR line is really the hardware. They all run the same software. They all run DumaOS, and we're happy to answer questions about DumaOS and kind of show you guys, how we use it and how we optimize it here in the office and how you can optimize it at home. If that's something you guys are interested in, let us know in the chat. We're happy to talk about that. A couple of more comments from Mac in the chat about his case. Mac, just so you know, like I said, we are here live with a support agent. So if you want to share your information and maybe it's something that other people can benefit from seeing, please feel free to share the information in the chat. Other than that, we will address your reference number, but this is your opportunity to chat live with us. Like I said, Darren's on the line. He is a support agent, so if you want to expedite your process here, please feel free. This is your opportunity to do so. So, aside from that, we have a question from FPS Mercs. How fast is Wi-Fi 6? It depends.
Really depends.
Darren, you want to touch on Wi-Fi speeds and what? I think this is a really common question that we get. I personally run a lot of our social media channels here, so I see a lot of questions about speed, and I think it's a very multi-layered answer. It's not just one thing that affects your speed. So Darren, do you want to just give kind of your support perspective of that?
And I can talk about it a little bit too.
Yeah, Wi-Fi 6, you're not going to take full ability of it unless you have a device that has Wi-Fi 6 on it. Some of the newer iPhones do. It's a very new technology, and multiple devices don't have it just yet, but they're coming sooner. I know that Wi-Fi 6 helps more than multiple devices to stay connected at faster speeds across the network. And also, you can bring down the speed of the network on the Wi-Fi 6 if you have older devices. So sometimes you want to just have devices at Wi-Fi 6. And also your environment is a big issue with walls and metals and microwaves and stuff like that. So it all can depend on how to get the best speed out of Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I think that's really related to just the nature of Wi-Fi. You have a single radio on every version of Wi-Fi. Some have multiple radios, some have multiple channels that they can connect to, but Wi-Fi 6 has more channels that devices can connect to. So think about one radio station but multiple channels inside that. If you've used HD radio before, there's multiple channels, streams of audio on one channel. Mm-hmm. It's kind of that same idea. So Wi-Fi 6 takes advantage of more channels, takes advantage of more range, but essentially you're not necessarily going to get more range with Wi-Fi 6, but in theory more devices connect to the same device, the same router.
So in that way, you're almost, even if your devices aren't necessarily Wi-Fi 6 compatible, they're still going to be able to coexist better.
They can coexist better.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's a big part of what makes Wi-Fi 6 better. And they had to change the radios, they had to change the hardware, the way the software works, in order to move from AC to Wi-Fi 6. Mm-hmm. And I've had a really good experience, and I actually do not have any Wi-Fi 6 devices yet, other than the router.
Sure.
And so, it's been working really great for me, and I have no complaints with the Wi-Fi 6 router I have right now.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but I am excited to start getting devices
some
on
Wi-Fi
there
6
that
devices
are Wi-Fi 6.
that are actually like legit
Yeah.
Wi-Fi 6.
But I'll give you a good example. I have a 400 megabit connection approximately at home, and I'm sending that across my house to the EX8000 extender, and I get approximately 380 megabits per second in my bedroom.
I remember you sent that,
I sent
screenshot
sent
to
the
our chat that was
screenshot.
like, look how fast my internet is at home.
Yeah.
For my EX600. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah. And I think my latency is like 15 milliseconds to the back room. So it's really good.
Pretty solid, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, I imagine you have a lot of IoT devices.
I do.
Yeah.
I have a Nest for my heater. I have
Yeah.
something controlling my solar panels that sends data. I have a couple other devices. I have a whole bunch of like laptops and tablets and phones, and we keep everything connected, and almost no one ever complains to me because I'm sort of like the IT guy in the house that there's a problem.
That's good.
So,
there you go. I think it's amazing how with this new technology and this hardware that we produce, how much you can run off of it. Like we always say on our streams, and I'll say it again, this whole room is powered off of one XR700.
Yeah.
And we've got, we're live streaming right now in 1080p, 60 frames per second. We've got, 7 gaming computers in here that all run off the same router, and they don't miss a beat. Yeah. And that's not a Wi-Fi 6 router. I mean, and then you got the Wi-Fi 6 router.
Well, I mean, we in all respects, we don't have that many Wi-Fi devices in this room.
Mm-hmm. Most of them
but
are
we
hardwired.
do, like my laptop right now is on the Wi-Fi, and I'm staying connected no problem. My phone, I think, is. If we added more devices, you might see some more latency on the devices that are connecting because they do have to share the airwaves. Mm-hmm. But still, not getting disconnected is one of the primary things you need. Totally. And remember, if you're a gamer, you should always try to plug in with your Ethernet to really get the best experience.
It's a big difference.
But in all respects, you cannot on a tablet or a phone, and there is competitive games on those. So you need to have something like an XR700 or whatever providing your Wi-Fi, and controlling the data that's coming through that connection and making sure that you just not overloading your airwaves in general. Yeah. So I actually always recommend as many things in your house be connected to wired as possible, because it actually helps clear the airwaves.
Oh, absolutely. I hardwired my whole media center.
Oh yeah, me too.
In my living room. Mm-hmm. I have it on an SX 8000.
Okay. Yeah, that's a nice router. Or switch, I mean.
Yeah, it's a good switch.
Yeah.
And it looks sharp on my media center. People always ask what it is. Just kind of a fun conversation to have,
Yeah. If there's more questions, I'm happy to.
Yeah. Let's address some of these questions. We had a bunch come in. Thank you guys so much for the questions. And keep asking them. We brought Darren on here to provide live support and answer live questions, so we love to see it. So first one that I would like to address, let's go up here a little bit. We answered how fast is Wi-Fi 6.
Here's something about gig speed on his PS4 versus his Xbox.
About gig speed is that my PS4 doesn't have gig speed internet.
So
it's more of a comment.
It's a comment, but I'm curious about that because are you wired in with your PS4, or are you using the Wi-Fi with your PS4? Because I do know that PS4 is the ability to wire in.
Yeah, and you should be able to get up to a gig over.
But
over Ethernet,
I think the
PS4.
layout of some people's houses makes it difficult to get wires to their media center.
For sure.
And I think that's a good example of what I'm using, which is the EX8000 extender. Mm-hmm. It has 4 network ports on the back, but you can plug those network ports into a switch, and you're going to get no difference in latency. It's negligible between having the ports on the back there and adding even more ports on the back there.
With a switch, yeah.
So
totally.
if you plug your PS4 directly into like an extender, then you're going to get more speed that way. Now, I see that FPF Merc says I'm wired in. Maybe it has a 100 base T port on the back or something.
Or, let's see, does he say he has?
He says he has PS4.
He has gigabit speed, yeah.
Yeah, so if it only has a 100 megabit port on the back, there is a possibility that using wireless might be faster for you if it has AC Wi-Fi. But you might get a little bit of more latency through the Wi-Fi because it's going to be sharing the airwaves.
Yeah. Darren, did you want to comment on that?
Unless you have
Yeah.
can even detect 5
PS4s,
gigahertz.
I see in chat we said they don't have the best network cards, which I know is true, and also their speed test isn't the most reliable thing. I've tested our PS4 in my home, and it just doesn't seem to be putting the right numbers up sometimes.
All right. Yeah, maybe it just doesn't have a very fast processor on the port. So even if it's
Possible.
yeah, so even if it's getting that plug, if the rest of the hardware can't handle that much bandwidth, then you're not going to get that bandwidth. I have a pretty low end laptop at home, and it only has wireless N, and even when I plugged in a USB adapter that had AC Wi-Fi, the processor on the computer could not handle the performance. So, sometimes the bottleneck is not your router. Often
totally.
It's not your router.
And that kind of goes
It's
back
everything
to
else
one
going
of my
on.
original points was like, there's so many factors.
There's
that
a
affect
ton
your
of variables.
speeds.
Yeah.
I think we got another question up here
Oh, yeah, please.
from Master Gordon the Pro TTV. He's saving up money to buy an XR500. Well, before I get into the rest of the question, there is a sale right now. It is $50 off. So I don't know how far along you are in your financial saving, but if the $50 off helps you, it's for sale right now. So please go check it out on the site.
Yeah. There's also a 10% coupon, I think.
You get 10% off if you sign up for the emails. Yeah. So please,
you can double them up.
I just want to let you know, I'm not trying to hard sell it, but if you are saving up, there is a $50 discount right now. So please, consider that. Take a look, see if it helps you out. But he does ask, he doesn't want to buy the installation for 67. Is that pounds or euros?
That's pounds.
Yeah.
Pound sterling. All right, let's go.
Any tips on how to set it up? Well, first of all, please do not get the pro installation. You can totally do it yourself. Darren, what are your tips for the installation of the XR500 or any router for that matter?
I mean, it's really straightforward and simple. If you download the app for either Nighthawk or Nighthawk Pro Gaming, it does a great job of walking you through on how to set up and update the firmware and get everything up and going. Also, if you don't have the app, the same thing through the web browser. And if you're still running into issues, you can always hit us up on social media or the community, and we have great KB articles that can help walk you through some of these processes.
Darren, I have a question for you because I have my brother. He has a DSL modem, and he basically said that his modem, you cannot turn off the Wi-Fi. So he wanted to use the XR500 that I gave him, but he just couldn't bypass his DSL modem. Have you heard questions like that before?
Yeah. Sometimes is it a DSL modem provided by the ISP?
Yeah, the ISP provided that.
Sometimes they really lock that stuff down, and you can't get it turned off, and it's really hard. I mean, he might have to see if he can buy his own DSL modem.
I see.
And run it in order to disable that type of stuff.
That makes
some
sense.
companies don't let you do that type of thing.
Okay. Perfect.
I think we got a couple more questions here. Somebody noted that you can buy an Intel AX200 and they're like $20 and it goes in most laptops. I actually looked into this myself because Josh / Nomad, he's not here with us right now, but he built me, he helped me part out and build a new system at home for gaming and for I do a lot of like Photoshop work, so those kind of two purposes. Aside the point, it came with a Wi-Fi 5 card, and I was looking into upgrading it. So I actually saw the Intel AX 200 on Amazon, and I know that goes in laptops. There's also desktop versions that you can use. Actually, I think it's the same. It's the same, right? They use the same technology, the Wi-Fi cards for the laptop and for the desktop. It's like that M2-esque port. It's not an M2, but it looks kind of like
Oh, that port. It's like a short.
Yeah, it's like a stubby M2. You know what I'm talking about?
I think I know what you're talking.
Okay.
I haven't been building computers lately, so I kind of I'm not really in that range right now, so I couldn't tell you. Maybe someone online knows.
Sure.
But there's certainly add-on cards, USB things, and ways you can get on AX now if you need to from a PC. But I would suggest that most people on a PC are probably wired in.
Yeah.
If you're a PC gamer, you're wired, right?
Yeah.
You should try to wire. But if you can't,
Yeah, like for me, I can't. So I have to opt for. I mean,
you should use an extender and a plug to the extender.
Yeah, I don't have an extender. I should consider getting one. But what was I gonna say? I'm upstairs. My router's downstairs, so unfortunately, I can't hardwire. I was thinking about doing.
Yes.
I tried doing Ethernet over power line, but
oh really?
The story difference. They're not.
They're on a different circuit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I can't even do that.
I
do power.
The extenders can work if you can reach
that,
if you can reach the Wi-Fi. Your extender, especially the tri-band extender, like the EX8000, it has one band it uses just to connect to your router, and so that the airwaves up in your room will be basically clear, and that's how I set up my bedroom. And so I don't have a hardwired connection to my front room. Although someday maybe I'll crawl under the house and do that, but
route it.
It's pretty dusty down there.
We got a lot of questions coming in.
Okay, please, let's finish the question.
One from J Carbs. Sorry we took a minute to get to your question. How do I expand the deny and allow window in DumaOS? I want to expand the window to see all tabs above my list. I see the letter P, probably from the ping column.
I know that there's a whole, there's some things you could do. Maybe like F11 on your keyboard will make a browser full screen and it'll get rid of a little bit of the contents. I know a lot of the windows on DumaOS can be dragged around and scaled. Maybe there's some tricks you could do there to try to make that window as big as possible. Maybe Darren has some more ideas, but those are the things that I would try. I know we're also doing some work with, DumaOS that people have requested. Who knows what will be coming next.
Yeah, I know that Duma did publish a blog that an update is in the works, and there is an update in the works. So stay tuned. I hope that scaling can fix your issue, and if not, go ahead and send us a ticket. We'll see how we can help you out. But
maybe you could try scaling your browser scaling as well.
Yeah, you could try scaling your browser as well. Maybe zoom out.
Yeah, that might work.
I'm not too sure. We got a lot of questions. Let's see. What is the difference between the 450 and the 500? This is something that I think is very commonly questioned because they do use the same shell, so they look very similar. And there's only a dividend of 50 between the two. So, do you, Darren or Brett? I mean, let me know. Sorry.
I believe the 450 just has a slightly slower Wi-Fi in it than the 500, but they're pretty much identical.
Gotcha. Okay. Anyway, that's the answer?
That's it.
That's it?
They do use a different firmware. It's based on the same shell, same content, but one has slightly slower Wi-Fi. And if you can get a 450 for cheap, then I would say you should definitely look at that.
Yeah. I think if you are on a budget, I think the 450 it's a killer option.
It really
is. I think is it still going for 150 right now? I believe it is. Maybe
they
not.
can check. Just let
double
them
check. Double check. See the price.
I don't keep.
We were / may still be selling it for 150. That was a killer deal.
Yeah,
and I hope you guys can still
Christmas
get it.
Time,
it was around Christmas time. I think it may be ongoing. Not too sure. So yeah. Okay, we have a question from.
There's a comment from Robert.
From Robert, I'm using the AC5300 Nighthawk X8 tri-band Wi-Fi router with an Xbox One directly wired and another Xbox One. another room directly wired to an AC 3000 tri-band wireless signal boost. To bridge the gap between the router and the other room, I have a 1 gigabit internet speeds. So hold on, these connect. I lost. I can't read.
It's hard. We're hearing a little echo, so it's hard to read sometimes.
To bridge the gap between the router and the other room, he has a 1 gigabit internet speed, and the lag is so terrible I cannot stand it anymore. I also have 30 Alexa devices and/or light switches. Wow. Well, I think that might be.
There is your answer.
There's your problem.
This is what I would recommend if possible. Put everything on your Alexa. Anything that connects us to Alexa, try to put it on the 2.4, if you can.
Well, okay, but he said here he's considering these new products. Would it dramatically improve his situation? And I think given the fact that you have so many IoT devices with all your Alexa devices, which if you have 30 Alexa devices set up, I'm sure that's something you don't want to compromise on. That's a pretty big project to set up that many, so I'm sure that's something you want to maximize. And Darren, let me know if this is correct. I think this scenario would benefit heavily from a Wi-Fi 6 router.
I think that the more devices you have, a Wi-Fi 6, and especially look at like a Wi-Fi 6 tri-band. I think we have a Wi-Fi 6 tri-band. Is that right? I forget the
Wi-Fi 6 tri-band.
I think it's the RX
200. Yeah,
the RX 200. So if you can put as many devices as you can on the 2.4, especially devices that don't require a high bandwidth, it's going to help out a little bit, because they're going to only be sending out radio signals on that one section, and your 2.4 is going to split its time up between each device. That's what it has to do.
We have a graphic that shows the way it works.
A little bit for you, a little bit for you. And so the fewer devices you can put on one signal, especially the extender. My guess is that your extender is sharing airwaves with all those other devices, and so the one that's lagging out is probably that problem. If you're having trouble on the wired connection as well, then I'm suggesting that you might need to try to reduce any uploading or downloading from as many devices as possible when you're playing, because your total upload is only 50. It's not that high. So those are some of the things I would try. Darren, what do you think? Is there any other tricks you would do to try to increase latency or decrease the latency?
I may suggest maybe the AX Orbi. It could be a better solution for him, being in a bigger home, from the sounds of how many devices they have, and they need an extender that does a great job. But yeah, they may also want to use some QoS settings to limit some bandwidth between some of those devices that aren't as important that they're using throughout the day.
Yeah,
but
and,
everything you said.
XR500 or one of these gaming routers could also help. It's not going to give you that multi-band though.
Yeah, I think that you don't need. I like the idea of the QoS and putting those IoT devices on a single band.
Yeah.
Those don't necessarily need 5 gigahertz speeds.
Most of them
IoT
don't.
devices. I think the mass of IoT devices is probably the problem, but individually they don't need an incredible connection necessarily. I mean, they're still going to work at a very high speed. Even
if they're a camera or something, you want to try to get them on a faster connection.
Totally.
But if it's just like audio or something, keep them on the 2.4.
Totally.
Let them have that little bit of latency. It shouldn't be a problem.
It'll be negligible, whatever it is. We got a lot of other. Robert, I hope we answered your question. Please follow up if you need more assistance. We're happy to delve into it. You seem like you have a pretty interesting case. 30 Alexa, that's a lot. Good for you for setting that up. So Codgoon586 is asking, should he get the 450 over the 500 because his parents want to save some money?
I think we answered that.
I think we answered that. I would say that the 450 for its price, it looks like it did go back up to $250. If it did go back up to $250, I do believe, like I said, the 500 is on sale for $250 right now. So if you want to get the 500 at the 450 price, currently we are running that sale. So Codgoon, please check the site. Go to the NPG section. We do have a lot of sales going on right now.
I'll just end with this. If you're gonna ask about 450 versus 500, whichever one you can get on sale, I think is your best bet.
Yeah, I think whichever one is in your budget is gonna serve you well.
Yeah.
So
and then paint it gold.
yeah, then take a spray paint and just spray paint it gold. Let's see. Codgoon asks, what does DumaOS do? Let's let Darren answer that one. I think that's a very multifaceted answer. There's a lot that it does. Hang on here. Yeah, Darren, please go ahead and just give your little pitch for DumaOS. What does it do?
Well, the big thing DumaOS does is it allows you to set a geofilter, which in games like Call of Duty, you connect to someone that's peer-to-peer and they become the host of the game. And ping is a big issue in FPS shooters, say. So if you connect to someone that's 3,000 miles away, you're going to have a bad experience playing a first-person shooter. You're going to be lagging and getting killed behind walls, and your shot's not registering. So what Duma's OS does is it allows you to set a certain area away from your home to only allow connections of a certain ping or lower, and that allows you to have a constant great experience when gaming and not be connected to someone really far away that you didn't want to play against because you're just at a disadvantage the whole time. It also has great tools to monitoring your network and your speeds and tons of nice features all laid out to you in nice graphs and stuff for you to look at while you're gaming to see where maybe a lag issue might be happening.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to see, how much bandwidth everything is using with just graphs that show up constantly. Maybe your friend in the other room starts downloading something on BitTorrent or whatever, something legal, and you can actually reduce the bandwidth of his connection on his computer.
I have admittedly tinkered with the quality of service settings when I think my roommate is using too much bandwidth.
One thing you can also do on the base level of the router, you can limit the maximum upload and download speed that'll use for content, which makes it so that your network never gets saturated. Because what will happen is if you're at the very limit of what your connection can do, every new packet has to get queued up and wait its turn. But if you limit the maximum upload and download speed, you won't get those queuing that happens from basically saturating your network.
Yeah.
Because before it saturates it, it's limiting it down.
Which is especially key for gaming.
Yeah, so most people limit it at around 75 to 80%.
I've got mine at I think I have mine at 70 actually.
Yeah.
I might bump it up, but we had a lot of questions that came in about, does it give you a competitive advantage? And I think that for all of those reasons, especially with Call of Duty, where, as Darren mentioned, it is a peer-to-peer connection, absolutely gives you a competitive advantage. You are able to drastically reduce your ping, especially with the geofiltering on peer-to-peer hosting games. I think that's where the product really shines the most.
I think also, streamers that are uploading at the same time that they're downloading,
Totally.
you need to be extremely careful about your bandwidth usage and not saturating your upload. And so, it has tools built in for doing that.
I don't know.
I think that was the antenna fell down.
Oh no.
Little glue there, some tape. So because you can limit those and monitor your uploads and downloads, you can be extremely careful about that and not saturate your network, and it will prevent those lag spikes you can get from saturating your network with uploads or downloads. So I would say that really helps. And we've, there's been some independent testing on how much it helps ping, and we have some information about that on the site. So you should check that
84%, up to 84% ping reduction.
Up to 84%.
Up to 84. That's what we're going with. And we have done the testing, and engineering is behind it. That is the number that we are going with, is 84%. So it's big. We got a lot of just kind of one-off questions here that I want to knock out. I'm just going to go down in the order they've come in. Back to Robert. Actually, let's just answer Robert's questions in one go here. So Robert was just to remind everybody, the guy that has 30 Alexa devices in his home, and he wants to know if a bridge would be useful, and is that something he should consider integrating into his current system?
So with a wireless bridge, you're kind of a similar situation to an extender. I would say you want to get the extender connection as good as possible and as clear airwaves as possible to the main device. But also getting more devices off of your network would probably be very helpful.
Yeah. Darren, do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, like I said, back to maybe an Orbi is a great solution for him, or even some of our mesh extenders, which have a better direct connection to the router to keep constant, stable connections, which is better than a normal extender that shares the bandwidth.
Yeah. I think that I mean, I'm assuming if you're currently running another access point and you have 30 Alexa devices, your home is probably pretty large, and that's exactly what the Orbis are designed for, are larger homes, giving you that tri-band mesh. We even have a dual band option now as well, but with that many Alexa devices, I would encourage you to go with at least tri-band. I mean, I'm not trying to like sell you the more expensive product. I don't think dual band would cut it.
So another thing about using Orbi is that the satellites will usually connect to the devices closest to them, which means the main router or whatever you're connecting to is going to have fewer devices connecting to itself.
Yeah.
So even though they're on the same channel, they're on the same Wi-Fi band, they are probably going to be on different channels and not interrupting, the main channel. So the fewer devices that one access point or satellite has to serve, the less work it's doing and the less sharing you are with other devices on your network. So if you do have 70 devices, I think it said 70 or 50?
30 Alexa devices.
30 Alexa, I mean,
plus,
those are going to connect
else,
to the closest satellite to themselves and clear the airwaves for whatever you're closest to.
That makes the most sense. I think that kind of gives a case for the Orbi system.
Yeah.
He also asks, do you have a Wi-Fi 6 recommendation that is prime for gaming as well?
For gaming? We don't have any current gaming tri-band Wi-Fi routers. There's plenty of our tri-band devices. I would say almost any of the tri-band ones, the ones with the fastest processors and most memory are going to be your best bet.
Yeah. I would have to agree with that.
I think someone was mentioning the X8. I think that's a pretty good system if you want
that's
like a tri-band.
That's what.
But there's also the RX 200, RX 200. That has tri-bands. Is it
RX 200?
RAX 200.
Yeah, that's the Wi-Fi 6
That's the newest one.
tri-band. So you've got multiple options on how you want to set up. I think the derivative of this conversation is you need a tri-band mesh system.
Whether it's a mesh that you build out yourself with mesh extenders,
exactly,
or if you go with the full system that's got the mesh built in, like the Orbi.
So, exactly, this is something that you could accomplish by building it out. Maybe your router is a RAX 200, and then we have tri-band Nighthawk mesh extenders. You can build that out yourself and really customize it, or you want to just get the all-in-one. You can go with the Orbi. I think ultimately that's what's going to serve you the best, Robert. And then he also mentioned that he's had Netgear products for many years.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sticking with us and for coming back and asking what your next step should be. Okay, we got a lot of questions from... God, I got to go way back up here. How many USB ports? Let's just knock out some of these nitty-gritty ones because I don't want to leave anybody on red here. How many USB ports does the A7000 have?
The A7000?
Right?
Is that an adapter 7000? I think that's the... Yeah, put it in. I think it's the A7000 adapter.
Yeah,
These adapters only take
one.
one.
It just takes up one.
And if you can't fit your other USB ports next to it, you can always use a USB cable to make that thing further away from your device.
Yeah.
I think we have one right here actually.
It comes with a cable.
Yeah.
So
this is what he's referring to.
Short
which
answer.
is an AC Wi-Fi USB and it has an antenna. So if you don't have AC on your laptop, if you have like a wireless N laptop, or you just have a laptop that doesn't get great Wi-Fi, you can plug this into it, or you can plug this into your PC through the USB.
Yeah, and you can extend it as well with the cable.
Yep.
Okay, let's see. Own a Nighthawk, and if I connect my PS4, it doesn't work. What can I do to fix that?
I think this is a good one for Darren.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be about ports and things.
Probably
like
about
that,
ports. Yeah, Darren, what would you say? What would you say to that?
What was the question again?
I own a Nighthawk, and if I connect my PS4, it doesn't work. What can I do to fix that?
I think we need a little bit more detail of what's going on there. If they connected it, are they connecting via Wi-Fi? Are they connecting via Ethernet?
Yeah. JD, if you want to follow up and just kind of provide a little bit more information, we can try to help you out there.
Another thing you can Google is ports needed for PS4, and there's, part of your internet connection is the ports that it's connecting to, and these are TCP/IP ports. And if any of those are blocked through your router, then you won't be able to connect to certain types of services. So that could be helpful, but certainly reach out to our support team or do some Googling. But I'm suggesting that could be one of the issues you might be having.
Totally. We got a question from FPS Merc, and he says the XR450 is a Nighthawk router. What is a Nighthawk Pro Gaming router? The XR450 is a Nighthawk Pro Gaming router.
That's right.
I think you might have gotten that a little confused there, but what makes something a Nighthawk Pro Gaming router is that it has that DumaOS, and we talked about DumaOS and the power behind it, so that should answer your question. What is the difference between the R6900P and the R7000?
I think most of these can be compared on the website, but generally when things have a very close number to each other, it's probably going to be related to the Wi-Fi speeds, but that's not always true, especially if it has like a P on it. The R7000 I think came out over 5 years ago, so there's been updates and tweaks and things like that over time. So yeah, you definitely want to look at the website and look at the two spec sheets, and you can see the differences. I don't know them offhand, but it's certainly something we could do a little bit of research. If you just put in the two versus each other on Google or something, it's going to come right up. And certainly if we don't have any other questions, I can do some Googling and look it up for a minute. R7000 or 6900P.
We've got some other ones.
Okay.
I think that should do it for that one. Let's see. Somebody asks, is the AX4 better than the 450 for gaming? It has Wi-Fi 6. So
it's going to be use case.
It is use case. If you have so many devices, well, I would say no, because you're missing out on those DumaOS features.
Yeah.
Like, for example, let's say you're on an XR450, and you got a lot of devices in your home. Technically, your AX4 is going to handle those devices better because it is Wi-Fi 6. However, you're not going to be able to use those QoS features as easily as you would on an MPG router, where you can go into DumaOS and tinker with it. So it does boil down to use case ultimately, but I think with the gaming features on the NPG router, on the XR450, I do ultimately think that would probably serve you best for gaming specifically, because geofiltering is so key, especially, I mean, you had mentioned you play Call of Duty. I mean, part of your name is COD, so that game, like Darren mentioned, is peer-to-peer. Geofiltering really, really shines peer-to-peer. So I would, even though it's Wi-Fi 5, I would go with the XR450 in your case.
Unless you have like an extreme number of devices in your house, or maybe a brand new iPhone or something that you really want to connect to the Wi-Fi 6, then in your case you're probably better served going with the
especially with Call of Duty,
the Nighthawk Pro Gaming.
All right, another one we've got here is this guy uses an RX 300 for his PS4 Pro. It's hardwired but gets little signal. I get what I pay for on my ISP, from my ISP on the Nighthawk app. Is there anything I can do? Lots of PS4 problems.
I'm an Xbox man myself.
Yeah, I don't have a console at home. Darren, do you have any suggestions for this guy?
He's getting little signal, so I'm guessing he's connected via Wi-Fi.
It's hardwired, but gets little signal.
You could have bad cables. That's totally
cables.
possible.
I think that's probably the case.
If your cable's way too long, or something like that, or the connectors are no good, there's definitely a possibility to have a bad connection that way.
Yeah, I would say try that, and then follow up. We're gonna do more of these streams, so let us know if that works for you. I would suggest switching out the cable.
And if you have to, grab your PS4, bring it right next to your router, and just use a different short cable. Plug it right in, see if you get a better connection that way.
Yeah.
And if you do, definitely look at those cables. And if those cables are in your walls, then see if you can get in the walls.
We have this is an interesting issue. We have from FPS Mercs. He's been having trouble with GeoFilter because it filters out his PS4 voice chat. You can't avoid that. I mean, if you're gonna GeoFilter, it's either all or nothing. You can't selectively GeoFilter.
Yeah, I don't think you can do specific ports.
Yeah,
because the voice comes through specific TCP/IP ports.
Yeah. So unfortunately, that's something that is I hadn't even thought of that. That's a collateral of GeoFiltering. So that's a good point.
I think it's going to depend on what you're geofiltering and where your voice server is.
Exactly.
Because if that particular game you're directly connecting to something, but if the voice server is far away, you're basically excluding
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know of any way of kind of getting past that.
I don't know how you'd approach that. I'll have to talk around and see if I can figure that out. That's a really interesting problem though, because I'd never thought of that, but it totally happens. At least your geofilter's working. at least it is a proof of concept there. This guy Steve just came in to say that he has a AX12 and he loves it.
Sweet.
Thanks, Steve. I'm glad it's serving you well. That's a great router. Is gaming Wi-Fi 6 good? Yes. I think, like we said, DumaOS would prove to make itself more valuable than the Wi-Fi 6 feature in many cases. But gaming on Wi-Fi 6 should be great.
Yeah, I game on a Wi-Fi 6 router all the time, but 95% of the time I'm directly connected to the router anyway. And also I have about 400 megabit connection at home. So, it depends on your use case.
Totally.
But if you're having specific issues that you're trying to solve, definitely look at the gaming router.
Yeah. Let's see. Can I get DumaOS on another router like the AX4? You cannot. You can only get it on the NPG routers. Forsaken Servant, who mentioned the PS4 issue, said he has all new cables. It is a little long, and he's tried short. So back to that PS4 question. What other issues do you think he could be running in? Darren, why don't you give us your take?
That's kind of strange. Does he have all the port forwarding done for PlayStation? And at that point, it could be a hardware defect in the port on the PS4. Can't rule that out. If he's not having any other type of low signal issues with any other device that's hardwired. And he may also want to try the 5 gigahertz wireless to see if he gets a better connection on the PS4 than the wired.
Switch to wireless.
Yeah, I think it's probably port forwarding.
That could be it.
That's probably the issue. Yeah, try out some of those suggestions. Let us know if any of that helps. It's probably port forwarding. That's my guess. But what else do we have here?
If your friend wants to bring over their PS4 for a few hours, plug it in, see if you have the same issues.
Yeah.
Then you could roll out your cabling, and then maybe say it could be the router. They don't last forever. They do need to be taken care of. Who knows if there's dust or whatever, something like that. But
It's an RX
I would
300.
try to rule out the ports on the PS4.
Netgear RS 300. Do we have an RX?
I haven't heard of an RX 300. I'm guessing it's RX 200. Oh wait, RX 300. What is this?
What is this? Oh, XR 300.
Okay, there it is.
Gotcha. XR 300. Okay. That's a fairly new router. It should be fine. Yeah, try out some of the suggestions and let us know if that works for you. FPS Mercs asks, do you know when the DumaOS app is coming out, and do you know when there's going to be a big? When is the next update?
We don't have dates for those kinds of things.
Yeah.
We can't really provide that.
Yeah, we can't provide that yet. It is coming. It's actively being worked on, but we don't have a set date for that quite yet. So, sorry, I can't answer your question on that one.
Stay tuned.
Stay
Keep
tuned.
an eye
yeah.
on social and all of our channels.
We're
definitely going to.
We'll let you know.
talk about
It'll be obvious. Let's see. All right, we've got.
We got like 2 minutes.
Feed in your final questions. We'll try to answer them. We got one more from Robert. Off subject. What do you guys think about the new Xbox coming out, and is it more demanding on your products? Also, will you have a recommended lineup of Netgear products to match up with the Xbox for optimization? That's a good article idea. We'll do it.
let me tell you my perspective on this. Networking is networking.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really matter how powerful the console is. Your biggest difference, especially nowadays, is going to be systems that are designed to stream content to you in real time. So look at things Stadia, Shadow PC, these things. I would not be surprised in the least if there's some sort of streaming service on any upcoming Xboxes. That's obviously going to use more of your network. So that's going to put a little bit more demand on these devices, but these devices are meant to go at full speed and connect as many devices as possible to your network. So, you be the judge. I don't think we're going to be ready for whatever comes because, it's kind of the chicken or the egg. We have the networking that they need, and that new Xbox, who knows what kind of connectors it's going to have on the back.
Yeah, I believe it's gonna have gigabit Ethernet.
1
I
gigabit.
think somebody said that.
I heard it was going to have faster, but we
maybe that was the current
have
generation that
some
they were talking
routers
about.
that have 2.5 gigabits output, a 2.5 gig port on I think the RX 200. So, we have products that will be able to interface with them, and if we have to put out new products that have interfaces that are even faster, then we'll do that. We're innovating all the time, so I'm excited to see what's next for sure.
Yeah,
I run 10 gig on my computer, so
that's
to a
a
NAS
lot.
device. So
I bet your file transfers are very, very, very quick.
That's fun.
That sounds like a dream. Yeah, I've got a NAS set up at my desk here. God, I mean, file transferring over Ethernet is just so much faster.
Yeah.
I transfer stuff from my Mac to my NAS all the time. I basically just dump stuff that I'm done using on there just for safekeeping, and it is, I'm getting like over 100, and that's just like that's off of like a dongle on like a USB-C port on the Mac, which is. That's so fast. I don't know. It made like when I drag a file over and I watch it just go like, I'm like, oh my god, that was so fast.
I remember the early days of Wi-Fi and wireless A and B, and it was so slow and unreliable. And now it's like so much faster, and it really is an option for a lot of situations now. And having just a Wi-Fi advanced, they're already talking about like a 6 gigahertz version of Wi-Fi 6, but I don't expect to see that for another 5 years, if ever. Because it's based on laws and things for the airwaves. But things are going to keep advancing. Plug in when you can. get the best Wi-Fi you can whenever you can.
Totally. That's
And
the golden rule.
That's the golden rule. And then when you need special gaming features, we have those as well.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think that pretty much wraps up our segment here. This was awesome. This is our first time doing this, and I think that it's something we want to continue doing in the future. We love being able to interact with you guys, and we love being able to provide this live support. Do you have anything else to say, Brett, Darren?
Next time we're gonna have the versus page up as quick as possible, so we can
answer that question. Anything you'd like to say, Darren, before we sign off here?
Anyone still needing help, feel free to reach out to us at community.netgear.com or hit us up on Twitter or Facebook. Our mods are here to answer. We also have really knowledgeable customers that are there in the community and like helping others.
There you go.
Thank you.
We hope that we're able to provide enough means at which to which you guys can find aid. Before we sign off, one last shout out. Thank you, Robert, for being a fan and for enjoying the chat. We hope to keep doing these and reaching out to more people and doing the best we can to provide support. So I think that's pretty much the end of the stream. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in once again. Thank you, Darren, for coming on the call. There was one question. Why isn't Darren there? Darren is a remote support agent. So shout out to Darren for taking some time out of his day to come chat with us and share some knowledge, because he's got a lot. So
thank you.
Thanks, guys. Take care. We're signing off. Bye-bye.